The U.S. Supreme Court clearing the way for the Trump administration to temporarily end what's known as humanitarian parole protections. This affects about 500,000 immigrants. The justices lifted these protections for migrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. Former Deputy U.S. Attorney Tom Dupree joins us live now. Tom, what can you tell us about this parole program? A lot of people say it protected these migrants from the risk of deportation. Looks like it's off the table now.
Well, the Supreme Court is letting the administration move ahead with ending the program. The people who are subject or who enjoy the benefits of this program had sued to basically try to stop the administration from terminating the program. They won in the lower courts, but what the Supreme Court said today is that the administration can end the program, at least for now, while the legal battle continues to be fought out in the lower courts.
We're talking about 500,000 people who will be affected. Who are these people? If you could categorize them under one umbrella, what would that be?
Sure. Well, they're individuals, generally speaking, from four countries. As you reported, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. There were people who were let in under this program that was established during the Biden administration. There are people who came from nations that faced, significant turmoil. So they basically were seeking refuge and obtained refuge in the United States under a parole program, which basically means that they can lawfully remain in the United States, at least while the program is in effect. When the administration came in, pretty much from day one, the president said he was ending this program, and that's what triggered the legal battle.
All right, so what were the essential arguments that got this over the threshold with the U.S. Supreme Court?
Sure. Well, the administration's position is that it can lawfully terminate the program. The challengers say that, look, even if the president has authority to end the program, he has to do it on a case-by-case basis. He has to look at the equities of every individual, all 500,000 cases. He can't do it en masse with one broad sweep. That's the threshold, or that's the kind of the core legal question that's being litigated right now in the lower courts. And what the Supreme Court decided today is not whether or not the president has the legal power to terminate the program. That will be resolved at a later date. But what the Supreme Court said today is that while this legal battle is playing out, the program can be ended.
How soon could we see deportations, or does that go now to the Trump administration with this news out of the U.S. Supreme Court, and now they have to get a plan going?
Well, the administration, by all appearances, is intending to move forward as quickly as possible. The program prevented the administration from removing these people because, again, under the terms of the program, they were lawfully entitled to be here. But now that the Supreme Court has said that the president has the power, or at least during the pendency of this appeal, has the power to end the program, there's nothing that stops the administration from taking actions to remove the individuals who previously were protected.
All right, Tom Dupree, thank you so much for breaking that down for us. We appreciate it.
Thanks.